Hello there. This is my number 6 4-plane. I cleaned this plane up and sharpened the blade and um, closed up the mouth because I wanted the mouth fairly tight. But what I actually ended up doing is closing the mouth too tight, and when I went to advance the blade hit the front of the mouth and dulled the living snot out of it before I even took the first shaving. So I need to resharpen this blade. I've already adjusted the frog back so that it is properly the mouth has the proper opening. Now actually I want to kind of loosen these because I can see that there. That's the frog wasn't quite as hard, as square as I would have liked it. And in actuality, it's still not. Let me back that up and try that again. It's just a hair out. People whine all the time about this design because you have to do this. This is not that big of a deal. If you're so flipping bent out of shape that you can't just do a slight adjustment of these 2 screws in order to get this thing where you want it, you've got more issues than that, honestly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this blade out. And we're going to sharpen this plane blade back up because right now it's not really cutting well. So medium India. Lovely. I want to take the burr off the back that I created with. But for some reason, for some reason, this corner here doesn't want to let go of the burr. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a bit more oil if I can find it. And I'm going to do a bit of flattening. I'm going to flip my stone. I'm just checking it to make sure that there's no no nips or burrs or anything like that in the blade. If you look, the reason I'm having that problem, and I may not be able to fix it in this sharpening, but if you look at the blade, I have polished all the way to this corner, but there's a tiny little piece of black right there. That is the tarnish on this iron, where the stone that I'm using did not get all the way to that edge. It's important that these are flat, but that the back is flat for the chip breaker, the connection of the chip breaker with the rest of the blade. And I'm starting to get like a little bit of a polish there. You can't see it, but I can. But what I mean is, this is the chip breaker. Let me clean it a little bit. And what happens is this goes on like this, and you bring it here and you move it up close to the edge of the blade, right? And what you want is, you want the edge, the leading edge of this chip breaker to contact fully the back of this iron, so that when you look through it, you don't see any kind of light coming through. And what that does is, this curve on the chip breaker, when you're planing with the blade and the blade cuts a piece of the wood off, a shaving off, it hits this and it curls up and breaks off before it rips, right? But if you're not careful and this is not good and flat, you can get chips up under there that cause issues with planing. It'll clog up the plane and cause issues. So I'm gonna spend a little bit of extra time trying to get that flat. And it's coming. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but if you look at the top of that black mark, you'll see it's starting to get shiny right in here. So we're going to work on it a little bit more. And I'm going to call that good for now, and I'm going to hone this again, sharpen this again to a burr. Lovely. And that's a nice solid burr along the back. Lovely. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm gonna go and work a little bit on this chip breaker. What I'm doing is I'm laying it flat and I'm dropping it down just a little. You don't want too much of an angle on that, but you want that to kind of have a leading edge that lays against that. The back of that blade. Really nicely. It doesn't show a lot of light. So I'm gonna call that good. If I put it all the way up, let's say I put it right there, and I tighten it up so that I'm about a 1/16 of an inch away. And what I want to do, what I'm doing is holding it up to the light, looking down through it to see if I see any light between that chip breaker and the back of this blade, and I do not. So that's fitted. So I want to continue with the sharpening. I'm going to flip over here to the soft Arkansas. Now you really don't have to go to this step. You can go straight to a black or a translucent or a hard of some type. But this set was given to me by a friend of mine, and I really wanted to do like a soft arc transition. I just didn't have room in my box, so what he did was he gave me this system here that, lovely, is separate from my chest, and I just bring this whole sharpening system out to the bench. And it sits usually like behind me on a table, but I thought for this, we might do it here on the bench. So that's good. Now we're going to flip over to a black Arkansas. I do circles, I do figure eights, I do back and forth. I just, whatever it takes my fancy. Um, if I'm gonna be right here on the stones, I just well make it interesting. Pretty much. I want the benefits of this flat on this edge, so I'm just doing a little bit extra than what I normally would do. I wouldn't do this in the course of woodworking. I would do it much less honing and a lot quicker to get back to work kind of deal. But this is like an initial sharpening and setting up, and so I want to take advantage of that. Gorgeous. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, so now we're going to reassemble this, and we'll come over here and shoot some end grain on this bench in the vise. So I'm going to tighten it up just a hair. And I want it fairly close, like a 32nd of an inch away from the edge. For general planing, that's a little close. That's like a 64th. Which is fine if I'm doing like figured woods or woods with really funky kind of grain, then I would do that. But that's about what you want for general, what I want for general planing tasks. And I'm gonna make sure that is centered. I'm gonna put this in here, and what I want to do is I want to do it very carefully so that it doesn't hit anything. Metal. As I'm doing this. And I'm going to square the blade up in the plane. And when you put this on here, this screw adjusts the tension. This, you want to hear it go like that. And actually, I want a bit more tension on that. So that still needs a bit more. There, just like that. That's what you want. And I'm gonna advance the blade a bit. We'll see you over there. This is end grain oak. I did some preliminary adjustments of the blade. It still needs a little bit of advancement. The vise doesn't like holding it. Let's put it up here. Lovely, but it's a little thick. Back it down just a hair. So it's cleaning that end grain up pretty well. I'm getting a little blowout, but that's because I'm going past the edge here. But I mean, but you see, I'm not getting full length shavings because I'm not trying for that. If I wanted to, that's beautiful. Trying to find grain direction. See it? It's not. There we go. And I'm just cleaning this block up. I'm making a bending machine. And all I need is flush and smooth. And that works just fine right there. Lovely. Wonderful oak.